welcome back to this new Creepy News episode. Today I wanted to share with you the case of Harry Powers. It's about a Dutch guy that actually immigrated to the United States and then ended up being executed because he murdered what seemed to be either a whole family or multiple people. But based on the victims they have on the wikis here, you have multiple people that are 50 years old but also children, so it's very disturbing to say the least. But what better person to narrate this case than a Dutch guy, because I'm Dutch myself for those of you that didn't know it, and this is dealing with a guy that was from the Netherlands, like where I'm living, and this hardly ever happens. I mean, Dutch people are crazy in their own ways, but hearing about them immigrating somewhere to go on a murder spree, it's still pretty uncommon, and this case occurred in the early 1900s, so a long time ago again, but we're still gonna go over it, so let's begin. They started this out by pointing out that Harry F. Powers was a Dutch-born American serial killer who was hanged in Moundsville, West Virginia. He lured his victims through Lonely Hearts ads, claiming he was looking for love, but ultimately murdering them for their money. Now, I remember on my first Creepy News channel years ago, I did another case that dealt with someone that used Lonely Hearts ads to kill people, and I'm fairly certain it was a different guy, because I really can't remember sharing in particular this one back in the day. But there was another person, and he was American, I think, that actually did that as well. Put out ads, find lonely people and then murder them. Pretty tragic, because these people are already sad in their own ways, and then somebody comes along to take them out of their misery. Well, maybe now that I point it out like that, it's actually a good thing, I don't know. I'll leave that up for debate. Now, they describe the following details for his early life. Harm Drent was born in 1893 in Beerta, which is probably sort of like how you pronounce it in Dutch, but it's kind of funny because I really don't even know the village. It's in the province of Groningen. I know that province, that's for sure, but I don't know this little town. It seems to have only about 2,000 people living there, so it's very rural. It's so small compared to where I live currently. It's not even considered a city, but it's way bigger at least. Now, he immigrated to the United States in 1910 and lived in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. His family came over in 1911 to the US. Harm moved to West Virginia in 1926. A year later, he married Luella Strother, an owner of a farm and grocery store, after responding to her Lonely Hearts ad. And though now married, Powers took out his own Lonely Hearts ads. Many women wrote in response to his advertisement. Postal records later indicated that replies to Powers' advertisement poured in at a rate of 10 to 20 letters per day. He constructed a garage and basement at his home in Quiet Dell. The garage was later discovered to be the scene of the murders, of which he was convicted. After his 1931 arrest, police investigation using fingerprints and photographs revealed that he had been incarcerated for burglary under his birth name in Barron County, Wisconsin in 1921 between 1922. Although not charged, he was suspected of involvement in the 1928 disappearance of Dudley C. Wade, a carpet sweeper salesman with whom he had once worked, and the unsolved murder of a Jane Doe in Morris, Illinois. So that's what they had to describe about his early life. Already pretty bizarre, because it's just so disturbing to realize that this guy starts building something underneath his home, like this basement, with the intent of using it for a place to either murder people or dump bodies. This crazy shit happens out there all the time. Just like that guy that once locked up his own daughter in the basement for decades and had children with her. Absolutely disgusting. But I guess some people have sick fantasies, and this one was no exception, even though he was Dutch. I hate to say it, but we Dutch people were truly crazy. I guess I'm the same. Gotta be careful with my own mind now. Now they describe the following details concerning the murders. Using the alias Cornelius Orvin Pearson, Powers began writing letters to Asta Eicher, a widowed mother of 3 residing in Park Ridge, Illinois. Powers went to visit her and her children, Greta, Harry, and Annabelle, on June 23, 1931, and soon left with Eicher for several days. Elizabeth cared for the children until she received a letter saying that Pearson was going to pick up the children to join him and their mother. When he arrived, he sent the child to the bank to withdraw money from Eicher's account. The child returned empty-handed because the signature on the check was forged. Powers and the children then hastily departed. He told neighbors concerned about their disappearance that they were on a trip to Europe. Sometime later, Powers courted Dorothy Pressler Lemke from Northborough, Massachusetts, who was also looking for love through lonely hard chats. He brought her to Iowa to marry her and persuaded her to withdraw $4,000 from her bank account. Lemke did not notice that instead of sending her trunks to Iowa, where Powers claimed to be living, he sent them to the address of Cornelius O. Pearson of Fairmont, West Virginia. Asta Eicher, her children, and Dorothy Lemke had disappeared with no explanation. In August 1931, police began investigating the disappearance of Asta Eicher and her children, beginning with Pearson, who was discovered emptying her house. They found love letters, which led them to Quietdale, where the supposed Pearson lived under the name Harry Powers with his wife. Powers was arrested and his house in Quietdale was searched. Police found the crime scene in 4 rooms located under Pearson's garage. Bloody clothing, hair, a burnt bank book and a small bloody footprint of a child were discovered. Citizens of the town began to arrive at the scene to watch the investigation unravel. A 15-year-old bystander informed the sheriff that he had recently helped Powers dig a ditch on his property. The freshly filled-in ditch was then dug up and the bodies of Asta, her children, and Dorothy Lemke were uncovered. Evidence and autopsy results showed that the 2 girls and their mother were strangled to death, while the young boy's head was beaten in with a hammer. Lemke was the last victim uncovered. She had also been strangled, with a belt still wrapped around her neck. Love letters were found in the trunk of Powers' automobile. He had written back to many women with the intention of stealing their money and killing them, just as with his most recent victims. Now, this sounds absolutely tragic in and of its own. I guess at the intro I did make a mistake. It wasn't the whole family he murdered. Of course he did murder a family, but that final one, Dorothy Lemke, was a totally unrelated person again of the rest of these victims that he also cold-bloodedly murdered, and as they just stated here at the end, he was planning on murdering a bunch more people, all for money. So I guess we do have a clear motive here that was financial gain, which is always so pathetic to me. Like, people that are poor or have financial issues just figure the fuck out how to make money for themselves instead of violently taking it from others, let alone murdering people in the process, all for some physical thing called money. It's pathetic, man. So even the state agreed, this is pathetic, you fucking idiot. Even though you're Dutch, we don't care. So what did they do? They gave him the death penalty. This is what they stated. Shortly following after his arrest, Powers received 2 black eyes and bruising, allegedly from falling down a staircase during his questioning. Sounds like a funny way of putting it. On September 20th, 1931, a lynch mob attempting to take Powers from the jail was dispersed with fire hoses and tear gas. Powers was then moved to West Virginia State Penitentiary in Moundsville. His 5-day trial was held at a local opera house because of the large number of spectators. Numerous witnesses testified to the evidence in Powers' home, that he had been with the victims and picked up their luggage, and so on. Powers also testified for himself. On December 12, 1931, he was sentenced to death. He was hanged on March 18, 1932. So take a good look at this picture as we zoom it in. This is the face of a Dutch guy that went on a murder spree over there in America back in the day. If you see someone with these eyes staring back at you, be sure to run, especially if he's Dutch. This is just a warning, a friendly public service announcement by your lovely narrator, Creepy News. And these were the details that they documented concerning this case. What were the other names they gave him? Well, unlike previous cases, they didn't have really bizarre nicknames. He was also known as some guy named John Schroeder, Joseph Gildo, Cornelius, Orvin Pearson, as we said throughout the article, and A.R. Weaver. Now, none of these names really sound Dutch, so I guess he really did a good job of hiding that part perhaps, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he seemed a little exotic in a way to American women, being like, oh, he's Dutch, he's from far away, let me date this guy, only to meet with their own demise. Absolutely tragic. And with that being said, dear viewer, have sweet dreams.